direction.
Dude, I'm just saying. Well, I want to see if this bold prediction comes to fruition. But again, yes, we have America's team going up against Chad, mate. And
to be fair, I have no idea what Custa's actual bold prediction was. I think it was just placeholder.
There'll be legs.
But
Decay. Decay will play the legs. Yes.
Decay. Gotcha.
Which, obviously, yes, based on their previous performance. I mean, the concept of him going rogue is not so outlandish. However, maybe unlikely in this current meta that we see much Soldier 76, everybody. I know, it would be fitting.
I tell you, this is a must-win game, I think, for the Justice. And I don't think it's kind of ridiculous saying that. 5-4 on the overall season. We thought this team would be one of the better ones in not just North America, but the league with the talent that they have.
Yep.
And to lose a game like this against a team, although be it the Florida Mayhem do have talent, playing a DPS player on the main tank role after a few days of practice, you can't lose games like this. With this type of roster, Decay, Assassin, Mag, Fury, like, you can't lose games like this.
The fashion that they lost in as well was not what we expect from this team. Like, sorry, you can be like, oh, well, look, we got, obviously your Mag is a rookie. Sorry, no one else on your team really is outside of Assassin.
This team shouldn't be a 500 level team or like a 2 games over 500 team. Like, they have the talent across the board to be one of the better teams. They just need to put it together.
I will say that Closer has the lowest deaths per 10 minutes of any Lucio player in the league at 3.5. So he's done a very good job of just keeping himself out of the line of fire, which is not something we can say for every Lucio in the league. But again, this team will be going up against a recently retooled Florida Mayhem team. And, a lot of the sentiment from the Florida crowd was that they were already happy, Matt, with how they were already proud of Checkmate. How we turned up and played in that series against the Fuel. We get another map 5 against Dallas, which just seems to be, that's always the way it goes lately. But Checkmate arguably looked his best at Orisa compositions. Outside of that, it was a little shaky.
I think the best thing you can say about his performance is, like, not scared of the moment or take on the role, right? Sometimes it looked a little bit reckless, right?
Sure.
But at least he's trying to make something happen. They're trying to make a play. They're trying to up the tempo and get players like BQB and Yaki in position where they can be successful, like we know they've been in the past. So a lot of pressure on Checkmate. We know the rest of this roster is very talented around him. So could end up leading to a victory here.
Yeah, it's not out of the question. The Justice don't really look like they're super settled so far in this kind of meta, which, I mean, you would kind of think they look good here. This should really suit Washington.
I mentioned, I think this is like a must-win match for the Justice. Yeah. If you're the Florida Mayhem and you win this match and you go 1-1 with Checkmate as the main tank and take the Fuel to game 5, his performance hasn't been lights out, right? Sure. But you have to be super happy with that. I mean, you will take that, considering where you kind of were, right? Losing 5 in a row, 6 in a row after yesterday.
Well, yeah, this team is mathematically eliminated from knockouts. They are 0-3 right now in the Summer Showdown. And again, suffer a similar fate to many of the teams that sort of have to take the field in week 1. I would say London also, had to get out there before they maybe really knew what other teams were playing, and they had to sort of test their idea of what was the best way to play this sort of unbounded meta, whereas teams that come in week 2, like Houston, for example, they get their own experience, the practice, and then they get to sort of go, well, okay, well, they can look at the rest of the field, see how these compositions perform on week 1, and they can factor into how they craft their own setup when it's their turn to hit the field. I think it was Pre, actually.
Yeah, it was.
Obviously, it makes sense. I can see why it would be upon his agenda to sort of point out how hard it is to play in week 1. But so Pre sort of goes, hey, team, there's a lot of upsets that occur in week 1 in general. I think that was the sort of gist of what he was trying to say. And Matt, I mean, if we wanted to go a level deeper, it might have something to do with that. That information.
But has it affected? When you look across the league, obviously there are going to be upsets here and there.
Yep.
Has it adjusted placements or teams being in spots where we didn't expect them to be? I mean, North America, Dallas, San Francisco, Houston, Atlanta. We expected these teams to be good at the beginning of the season. In APAC, you have the Dragons, the Fusion, Shanghai. Seoul Dynasty. Like, we expected these teams to be solid. So, like, the teams we thought that would be good coming in have played at that level. it just feels like with some of these other teams that are in the middle of the pack, there could be some fluctuation depending on who knows the meta or can play it first.
I mean, this is a really worthwhile stat to have a look at here. Is Winston was so hotly contested, especially during the June Joust meta, but Mag actually boasts the best stats in the league at final blows, primal rage kills, and primal rage efficiency. Now, this Washington team is really middling results, so this is not exactly a group of stats that rises to the top, but this is extremely significant. Especially, Matt, you know, first of all, Oasis is our first map. I can sort of reveal that. So, you know, and following that, we get sort of 66 Anubis and Eichenwald. So, plenty of opportunities to sort of flex in that Winston direction. I don't know if teams are locked in.
I think, though, if you play the Winston, let's say, for Washington, you know, Florida can end up playing like the Orisa Sigma double shield stuff and make it even easier for checkmate, right? That's what we saw him at his best.
In fact, that was the comp that they dealt with handily against Dallas.
Yeah, so with the Florida Mayhem, Mitch, they sit at 4-7 right now on the season. Their final 4 games of the year for the Countdown Cup. Atlanta and Boston, and then next week after that, the Outlaws and the Gladiators. That is a brutal stretch of games after this one for the Florida Mayhem to try and turn it around. It almost seems like you need this game right here to have a chance to kind of finish the season at 500 or close to it.
Yeah, crucial wins here from here on out for the Florida Mayhem. Assassin's PC having some issues, so we're going to restart. Well, we're going to restart that, ladies and gentlemen, and we will be taking a brief break while we get that little technical issue ironed out. So we'll see you here in a moment for our last match of the day. It's going to be the Washington Justice going up against the Florida Mayhem here on your 4th of July Overwatch League.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Gremlins exterminated from Assassin's PC and devices. We're ready to start in just a moment here with our final match of this week. Wow, it's gone awful quick. Washington Justice, who are at 5-4, go up against the Florida Mayhem, who stand at 4-7 for the season.
Yeah, and I mentioned the Florida Mayhem tough schedule coming out of this game for the Countdown Cup. This is their final game of the tournament here. The Justice, you see the first map will be Oasis. Now, the Justice, they'll have the London Spitfire next week, and then the Gladiators, and then their final 4 games come against Houston, Gladiators, Toronto, and then the Titans at the end. So No, the one at the end against the Titans, you think they're obviously the favorites in that, but some of those other ones, with the way they're playing right now, looking quite dangerous. We have to see a better looking Justice today. I think that is really the bar, the minimum for what you expect to see from them.
It doesn't matter whether Florida Mayhem have OG or Checkmate or Tank. They're an incredibly scrappy team. You definitely still need to look out for BKB and Yaki, who, look, because of their team speed elite performances, don't always appear in like our top 10 rankings per hero or per role. And also because Yaki plays a decent amount of off May in some of these compositions. But this is a world-class DPS line for Florida. One that can definitely challenge the likes of Decay and Assassin.
The team should be better.
Both of them.
You see the spray on the side. Yeah, both of these teams should be better. Florida, with the DPS line that they have, the supports, Gargoyle, OG. I think this team would be fantastic. They haven't performed that well this far. So, Orisa Reinhardt, double barrier here, and that's going to be Gargoyle taking out the K straight away. So you just send Gargoyle in, swinging the hammer, and getting a kill.
Even with Checkmate getting knocked down the well at the start of the fight, which is one of the worst heroes to have lost in that way, he's fine. With 5 players, the Florida Mayhem are able to win that fight pretty convincingly to start with. This is it. This is where Checkmate wants to be, or rather where the Mayhem and their fans want him.
Reaper. So we have not seen much Reaper at all, really, in this tournament. So May Reaper with the Rhine and the Diva in play, as a wall comes in, a counter wall there from Yaki to keep Gargoyle alive.
And alive he stays until the Shadow might cause a problem there. Yes, he falls to the amped Fire Strike from Mag. The Justice now need to spend no more to win the fight.
Yeah, big Shatter from Mag, and then the Fire Strike through the Amp Matrix. That is good enough to get a team wipe. So the Mayhem coming back will have some ultimates and a big ultimate advantage. So they'll have the Symmetra Wall, they'll have Blizzard, and an Amp Matrix of their own. So they can definitely flip this right back.
The Gargoyle Reinhardt. You'll love to see it. Florida Mayhem, never a dull moment with this team. All right, teleporter used there. Wow, they just go back behind the Shatter. It's good. It catches 2. Immortality Field has to be used there, but it's unlikely to be enough to keep at least Fury in the fight. He falls to the Blizzard. And Florida love the teleport hijinks with Reinhardt in the mix. It looks good right there.
4 ultimates have to be invested there, though, for the Florida Mayhem. That is quite a lot. Where now we get a little bit of a break kind of from the ultimate Fiesta. You have Blizzard Barrier for the Justice, but you think Florida will just counter that with a Sound Barrier of their own. So we'll see. Maybe they can get the Reaper in position to do some big damages. Oh, and that was actually Gargoyle looking for the charge through the teleporter, but broken up by the May wall.
Yep, a Florida Mayhem classic play, that one. The Blizzard is very good, though. Assassin makes sure no one escapes from that. And Mag, chewing as he goes, just moves up onto the point here. Both these teams, okay, this is going to be a little bit of a slobber knocker of a series. Both these teams are winning fights in a very one-sided fashion here.
Checkmate.
Again, it was always going to be scrappy.
So, is Checkmate playing like an off tank? I mean, maybe you're just close to the Shatter, so you leave it. So Gargoyle playing the Reinhardt here leaves his whole team to get shattered.
I mean, he didn't leave them. He had no shield, Matt. No shield. He got blown up so quickly. And that will be because of the Amp Matrix from Bebe. So you're caught in a position where you have to walk at length into an Amp Matrix. There's not much you can do there. I bet Gargoyle's saying, oh, you should have hid behind the pillar with me, you stooges.
So Shatter for Gargoyle and an Amp Matrix. So TP to try and close the gap. That's the Amp Matrix. It's going to force players into some weird position. It's going to be a Death Blossom from above the May wall.
Yeah, the Reaper Copter from Decay. The May wall causes problems, though. Decay can't really stick to his target, but Mag's able to get rid of Gargoyle there.
And you've gotten blown up so many times on the brine that you haven't even had an opportunity to get the Shatter off. You're going to walk into the Assassin Blizzard.
Okay, OT secured there by Gargoyle. Teleport gets the Mayhem on the point, but they're split! They split themselves voluntarily! Oh dear. But this is how they keep the round going, I guess. Doesn't seem like the ideal way to stay in, but we'll see how it pans out, Matt. Yaki has a Blizzard. He needs to stay alive, and I think Checkmate knows he needs to keep Yaki up, but he dies, and Pussy gets interrupted. Worst possible scenario here for the Florida Mayhem. This utter chaos sometimes works against them. I guess they're not immune from entropy either. Overtime now. Slime very low as Baby tries to pepper him as he approaches the point. This will be the cleanup and the Justice take the first round.
Yes, they make the changes right after that first fight. They go over to the Reaper. I want to see what happens with this Florida Mayhem tank line. Do we see more of Checkmate in like a off-tank role? Is that just because they wanted to try and keep the Shatter? Checkmate plays the Orisa. He switched over to Zarya and then some Diva during this. So, see Checkmate back on the Orisa. So, we'll see Checkmate playing the main tank. Gargoyle now going over to the Diva.
This is the mag. Shatter. Not a thing that you can really do about that. The Mayhem backed into a corner. The May wall definitely goes a long way. Here we go now. Second round, City Center. No changes to the Justice, except for Decay.
Very static composition. Assassin on the 76, so we will see double hit scan here for the Justice. Florida, they'll play the McCree Torb, and they're also going to play the Orisa Diva. So very stationary. A Moira in the mix as well.
It's the legs, but not for Decay.
Healing. Yeah, not the legs from Decay. It's the Assassin legs. Johnny's so close.
See the turret there up top. BQB finds a headshot, but Decay gets the better of him there. Just riddles him with the body shots. Doesn't need to be flashy to get the job done, this man. Oh, the halt. That's problematic when the micro rockets come into the equation. Gargoyle gets a quick double. All right, Mag's able to find Gargoyle after he is desuited here. Immortality Field had to be used by the Justice. They have the better positioning right now, but it's a question of numbers.
I mean, they get both DPS, but you're going to have them back in the fight very soon. Ant Matrix here for the Justice. They know they need to win this fight quick.
Mag knows he can soak a bit of damage here and put pressure on Checkmate at the same time. Guangzhou has built that coalescence.
Whoa.
Oh, he dies during it. Decay must have hit him with a flash there. There's no other explanation. Flash headshot, that's classy.
He is off to the side by the jump pad alone. And Decay is chasing him down. He decides to go for the Coalescence. I mean, he changes now over to the Batista. Maybe he wanted to change it anyway to get that Immortality field. Still an odd waste of a potentially big ultimate. So 20% and counting here for the Justice. So they have some ultimates coming online.
It's a BQB Deadeye that's not going to do anything outside of forcing back the Justice. Mag was there to protect Decay from the hold follow-up. Here's a Deadeye now from Washington. Decay comes forward, aggressive, gets Slime, even with the defense matrix in play. It looks like Gargoyle couldn't protect the Lucio. Speed boost really helps Decay come forward.
Gargoyle's not going to make it out with this mech, so going to have to jump off the side. We'll wait a little bit for him to get back in the fight, but the Justice being so aggressive, taking the fight to the Florida Mayhem. Widowmaker here from BQB. Maybe just trying to get a pick off, and now back to the McCree. So how do you make use of this Torb? The Torb's good if you are able to control the point first. In this type of position, trying to retake, not the best.
Ant Matrix with the tactical visor. Molten Core from Miyaki. Unclear where most of the goop was placed.
Didn't like the
Assassin just repositions.
Yeah.
The wrong choke by the looks of things, man. Okay, a little bit over there, some pink, but not a lot. Okay. Yaki has the turret in play now. Self-destruct coming into the backside. Sound barrier being used here. It's going to be Guangzhou going down to the bomb. What a high-value pick-off for Fury. Fight's over before it begins now.
I need a doctor.
God, this looks like
Justice
for Decay.
Yeah, I mean, well, one of the things I think Sideshow mentioned in the match against the Dallas Fuel is how good BQB was against Dallas, but obviously not a hit scan player on the Dallas Fuel like Decay on the other side. Is Decay comes up big there in map number 1 playing the McCree and the Reaper, and the Justice take it with ease.
Yeah, a really sloppy looking second round for the Florida Mayhem. They try a bunch of compositions, none of them really work. If you're a fan, you want to be hoping they've got something a little more concrete lined up for the rest of the series as the Justice take the lead here. It's 1-0 in our final match of the week. Stick around, folks. Back in a moment.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of the Overwatch League, and by IBM, the official cloud and AI partner of the Overwatch League.
Coming into this match at 0-1 so far in the Summer Showdown, the Justice's fate was pretty uncertain. Really know, how they were going to bounce back, or if they were sort of going to bounce back from a very difficult first game. Matthew, so far they look pretty good against the Mayhem that is frankly just absolutely fruity. The Checkmate plays the Orisa Gargoyle and the Reinhardt, and it looks okay at times on Oasis, but not a great look overall for the Mayhem as they drop that first map in straight rounds.
I think it's an odd map and odd compositions for both teams there. We'll see how things kind of shake out and normalize as the series goes on with Route 66 up next. No subs for either team coming in. The only sub available for Florida would be OG. You don't see him in this series as they want to try the Checkmate tank out. So, but first map is dominated by the Justice. You have to give them that. Although it's a little bit of a crazy, wacky scenario, we do have the Justice coming out on top in big fashion. We'll see if Florida can find some life here on Route 66.
Am I supposed to put my hand on my heart right now? No? Okay.
What?
Route 66, where it's going to happen.
What?
We'll have the Florida Mayhem starting on defense here. And you probably expect to see, Matt, surely like an Orisa comp here, yeah?
Probably, I think, on defense. Also, did you see the people are scared now of the tiles in the spawn on Route 66?
Oh, why's that?
Because people say they look like teeth going all the way across.
Oh.
And evidently, when you look at it, you can't kind of unsee it. So, something I saw.
Is that like when you look at Tom Cruise's teeth and realize like his two front teeth are slightly offset to one side, that like you can't ever look at him the same way again?
Is that true?
Like the gap between his two front teeth is like way towards like one side. It's super weird. Go look at it.
It's kind of odd. Yeah, I've never really kind of taken the time to look at his teeth.
Oh,
yeah,
they look like
teeth.
teeth.
They do look like teeth. Yeah. How wild is that? Yeah.
Well, thanks, Matt. Brilliant.
Double shield like the Justice as well.
Okay, so Mag and Fury here.
Yeah.
On the Orisa Sigma setup. Okay, I'd like to know. Right, so when the Mayhem are playing this, why do you think you want double shield here on the offense? You don't want to play anything else? Or play something more like mobile with Brian or something? Or
so this is a little bit of where my concern was going to go. Is Checkmate gets so low, they're going to keep him alive. As Decay takes out BQB. Was that like the Justice would just end up matching this? And really, this is what the Mayhem looked the best at with the Orisa Sigma shield compositions, and that the Justice kind of played themselves into a bit of a loss. But I know Decay getting that pick off at range. So much damage with the Hangzhou and the Echo. You're able, if Checkmate or anybody else really gets out of position, you're able to just burn them down so fast. Don't think we're going to see a contest here for Florida, so they're going to give up that first checkpoint already.
I'm a little concerned that this might blow out somewhat after the Florida Mayhem there got absolutely decimated on that first point. BQB switching over to the Widowmaker. Yaki on the Tracer here, so very vastly different DPS picks between the two teams. Assassin obviously needs to respect BQB, but can really break line of sight from the Widowmaker quite easily on this part of the map. And that card is unharried so far.
The Widow's not providing any shield break. So they're able to move up, win that shield war. You see how aggressive Checkmate is. You have to play with the Tracer. The Tracer's got to be the one to get the picks off here.
DK's in a great spot to pressure the enemy Orisa here, but Yaki and Gangnam finally have struck, and they strike true. It's Magna goes down first. DK could still be a factor late in this fight here, but losing Fury now means that your staying power is severely compromised.
And Closer uses Valkyrie. Not even going to be able to get a res. This is one of the odder positions you're seeing this team fight out of. You're able to keep Bebe alive for the time being. He jumps in Ant Matrix as he gets taken out. And this is what in the world? We have a duplicate here. The card is somehow still moving, by the way.
Yeah, Assassin duplicates Sigma just to move card.
But like, look at the position he's in. You have the Widow with the cross. He's in so much trouble. He's gonna live. He's gonna get out. He's gonna get out, or he's at least gonna live. But wait, the support. So Hangzhou is stuck in the choke. Okay, so we get Decay out of there.
Right.
The card is still moving. Safe. This ends up being a net positive for the Justice in the end.
Forcing fights. They're still making progress here. Gravitic Flux from Fury. Needs to be careful though. The high ground there is an Ant Matrix. He still gets 2 kills. Unreal stuff Fury has to be so tentative about how he uses that. He can't even really scout with the first part of Gravitic Flux at risk of dying to the amp damage. But he still gets 2 massive kills with it. The follow-up's so good for the Justice, and Fury's just a beast.
So you have not really gotten that much out of the Widow yet. Assassin's still able to rule the sky on Echo.
By that we can say BKB hasn't gotten any kills, I don't think.
No, he has. He got one in
Okay.
that last fight.
Right.
It just hasn't been the big difference maker I think you would have imagined or would have hoped. Is checkmate gets so low coming out of the spawn. Is Yaki able to find yet another one? I mean, Yaki doing all he can to keep Florida in this.
Kicking and screaming, Matthew. That's always been the story. Yaki, 20% to another pulse bomb, but there's only so much that one Tracer can do.
Unstable.
And eventually Yaki is going to fall into some trouble here. So BQB had an off angle. What? Gets glocked by Closer? Excuse me? Okay, man.
I mean, that's a rough. I mean, BGB does get one during that fight. Now he switches to Ashe. I like this way better. You can actually combo like the halts with the dynamites. You can, you know, fend off for yourself a little bit better at closer range. But I mean, Yaki there ends up getting 2 kills, not able to get any help from teammates. That'll be a dragon to section some players off. You're gonna get a kill on the slime. The Justice are rolling right now. I mean, even when some of these fights look a little crazy and sideways, they're still able to come out on top in a big way. They still get Gravitic Flux with a halt.
Yeah, the halt makes that so much nicer. Otherwise, I think it only catches the Sigma of Gargoyle. But they get Gangnam Jim inside that as well. So it's just huge value. Checkmate here, just stalling card, dying on card, doing his due diligence there to try and bleed as much clock as he possibly can. The Justice have a few more ultimates to cycle through, namely a duplicate here for Assassin, Matt.
The Justice should be able to take this. Bongo, Amp Matrix on the high ground, a duplicate. This will be a Pulse Bomb that goes in, takes out the Bongo, which is fantastic. But still, I mean, you're going to have the Amp Matrix coming online. This will be Assassin who potentially could get a Gravitic Flux of his own.
No one's watching Yaki right now, but he's still pretty concerned. Another Flux. That's tough for BKB. He's not getting out of that one. Yaki goes very, very low. It's a rock inside spawn as Gangnam Jim, yeah, was at risk of dying there for sure. Gravitic Flux coming out from Gargoyle, but the card's still moving. Checkmate needs to get back there. He does. He gets rid of Assassin as well, so stall plus kill ain't bad, but it's going to take a lot more than that for the Mayhem. And, ooh, 2 minutes 13 on the clock. That is a very, very good attacking time.
Yeah, that's not good defense from Florida. They were not able to make anything happen with the Widowmaker. Towards the end there, they were just so far behind in terms of ultimate. It's really good setting of like the tempo and the pace by the Justice. So Florida, they gotta, you either gotta commit to, these comps and try and make them work, maybe try and put Checkmate in a different position. And I don't even actually think it's really on him. I mean, this is there's a lot of just plays as a whole team that they're not making at all.
The Justice get a ton of value from their Sigma play for a lot of that round. Fury seems to be just providing some outsized impact in these fights. The Halt combination is very good. This team looks extremely well-versed, Matthew, when it comes to playing the Orisa Sigma setup, which a lot of teams tend to gravitate towards lately. Excuse the pun. No need for any Winston from Mag so far, even though he boasts some of the best Winston stats in the entire league. The Justice show a bit of depth here. They have Decay on the Hangzhou for much of that round. Assassin still on the Echo, so a little bit of throwback from the Justice's sort of strengths in previous metagames now. And the Mayhem, they're going to have to be pretty quick off the mark here.
We'll see what they decide to run. Farah Mercy is a interesting call. Some time to make some changes. So we see Yaki on the Tracer again. Look, he was putting in work on Tracer. Nothing else was dying.
I mean, incredible Tracer player. Like, there's no doubt about it, right? He is absolutely insane. And with a better record, his stats probably look even better, inflated by the winner's advantage. This cannot be turning into a spawn camp for the Mayhem, but so far, it's headed that way and fast.
I mean, they're just they're just ignoring Yaki. Like, he's doing so much damage, on the flank and causing a little bit of chaos. but they just march right through the front line. And there's nobody, they're not able to keep either of the tanks alive, right? So they just push right on through. I mean, that's a fight where they lost, the Justice lost Bebe right at the start. You lose your Batiste, and they just roll right on through. I mean, just gets domed coming out of the spawn here by Decay. That's just a bit unfortunate. I mean, that's just a stray headshot across the map, but they do have like just when it rains of cores here. I think for the Mayhem is they're able to get the cart moving now.
Okay, gets the bind out there. Make sure that he's tended to by his team. Yaki is going to be at large on the low ground, and he's getting close to a pulse bomb. You know, we've only given player of the match to a losing player once in the history of the league. It was Dia in season 1 or 2, maybe. Yaki putting that kind of performance that might have warranted that, so far at least. Gangnam Gym, okay, so Immortality Field taken down, but yeah, Yaki finds Decay. Pulse Bomb was there, doesn't find any purchase with that though. Mag and Fury is still very healthy, but no Decay means a little bit less damage output for the Justice now, and the Mayhem want to try and make use of that. They get aggressive, but they're going to run into an amplification matrix. Yaki's going to go around.
And they drop their own amp matrix, Florida. It doesn't seem like they really get much use out of it as a Bob comes here on the flank. The Bob is big. Yeah, a bit of a mess there on the side, but the Bob on the flank puts in a lot of damage on these tanks as Yaki pushes forward, takes out Decay. Like,
I felt
Florida,
that
they take that first point.
All of Yaki, you know when his shoulders are getting involved, this guy is really trying to take the game over. Bebe gets spawn camped. Yaki is just looking absolutely feral right now.
Let's keep it going.
What a dangerous player.
He is crushing on the Tracer. Yeah, it's just you just need something else, right? Just a little bit more, and this is a series where Florida can really start to turn in their favor. But Gravitic Flux, you have a rally here, a duplicate for the Justice. I'm surprised we haven't seen like a McCree swap or something from Decay just yet.
Another Pulse Bomb there, a good Gravitic Flux on a Mag, but he should be able to sail out of that one with the Fortify. Looses the Supercharger though, and it's a Pulse Bomb attachment on a Bebe. That's huge. BQB as well, helping out, gets rid of Decay, and now the Mayhem are starting to find some momentum, Matt. This is very good after a slow start this round.
Yeah, they can't just ignore Yaki anymore. They need to have some kind of answer. And like I said, just before that fight, I'm surprised I wasn't seeing Decay switch to McCree. Now we see him switch. So probably a fight late on the swap here, but McCree be a little bit more effective towards the later part of the map, which I expect the Justice to give this up and just play for the end.
Yeah, that's kind of brutal though. A big time bank for Florida here. 4 minutes 15 now. And they still have an air matrix into the next fight, whereas the Justice supports it very little. Closer switches from the Brig now because they feel like they maybe have enough to deal with Yaki, but that's hubris if you think just a McCree is going to counter a player like Yaki. K wanted to go for a flank here. He runs into Yaki. An instant Brig.
Yeah, so you know that's now on cooldown. The Amp Matrix for the Mayhem buys them enough space to get the card around that first corner, which now that's where BQB can take a long advantage of the long sightlines on Ash. So pretty good here for the Mayhem. Looks like the Justice trying to sit up on the high ground. They're giving up so much space, the Justice. They let them pretty much just walk the cart like halfway to the end already.
Could because they didn't know where Yaki was, or they didn't really have Decay in such a position to counter the Tracer flank. Decay was maybe doing something else. It's very passive here from the Justice. Very, very passive. Look at them sitting right back behind their shields.
Yeah, so you do have to close the gap if you're Florida. Puts Yaki in a tough position. As this will be a Bob that comes on through. Pulse Bomb already used. The Gravitic Flux gets Gargoyle really low, so the Justice should be able to come back out on top in this fight for 2 in a row.
But BQB on the card.
Yeah.
This is going to split the Justice up as well. Air Matrix from Bebe. There's going to have to be some value accrued. All right, BQB's done.
What?
Okay, that's a tough one. That's a tough one.
I mean, the whole team's dead.
That's a tough one. Yaki tried to Pulse Bomb Assassin that fight, by the way.
Maybe Gargoyle's going to switch to Diva, try and get a little bit more help onto the high ground.
No, it's just a bad
No,
ult.
he'll stay on the Sigma, yeah. So BQB now will match the McCree. No longer on the Ash, but Florida, nothing to work with in terms of ults. what, you're banking on Yaki building up a pulse bomb and landing a big one yet again.
Time bank's even now, so the Justice will have a bit of time. Assassin with that off angle. I mean, he can't really be shifted right now, and it splits up the Mayhem. Oh, there's a sentinel to this. That is a Gravitic Flux, of course, and the Duplicate, so may as well go for it. So annoying,
I mean,
dealing with 2 Sigmas.
Yeah, he dies as soon as he uses slime, so he didn't really do that much damage, though, here for Florida. He built up the Pulse Bomb, like I mentioned. You're getting a bit closer to a Supercharger, but you know, even one fight win with where the card is going and it's moving backwards, it's not going to be enough for Florida. They're going to have to get 2 fight wins.
Decay probably hates this. He probably hates that he has to actually play to counter a player instead of doing his own thing and sort of making his own rules. But that's just what Yaki's doing to the team right now. You have to accept that.
Well, it was the only thing that was really, you know, losing.
Well, they had a
game,
brig. They just had to swap off it. They chose to with the McCree in play. The Mercy offers you a lot, I guess. Especially the Resurrector's a defending team, Matt. So that's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah, and you know, the Res, the Valkyrie, right? I think really for the Res, so even if Yaki gets back there and lands a Pulse Bomb, they can just kind of, you know, erase that mistake.
Sure.
But you know, where the Florida Mayhem were rolling, as soon as Decay has switched to this McCree, it's definitely given Yaki second thoughts about having to go into the back line and make plays, which has definitely hurt Florida, as he was the one who was really making everything happen.
I wondered even that it might not be enough. Okay, that's a flashbang used there. Yaki still respects the headshot, though. Look at him working around Decay right now. This could be it, though. The big chance.
He's got the Mercy pocket, too.
Yep, Closer is just juicing his boy up, and that's not a stick. Decay still comfortable dealing with the Tracer, but elsewhere there's a fight brewing. Fury goes for the Gravitic Flux. No big kill from that one, but Checkmate is downed. Kinetic Grasp into the Deadeye, which means the BKB just gets a free reload and nothing more. Fury chasing here, looking aggressive, doesn't have a shield, so may as well play as another DPS for the time being. But the Mayhem are running out of time. They lost Checkmate first, then Gargoyle second. It's staggered kills against the Mayhem, which means they can't even get 6 players here. Checkmate's ball touches. Sticky bombs on him. Assassin very low. Able to get topped up, though.
They barely make it back on, as that'll be Slime getting on with a rally. Assassin up in the air, doing tons of damage, and that'll be the Justice getting a hold on the 3rd point here on Route 66. So Florida, they did a nice job getting past the first 2 checkpoints, but towards the end there, didn't really get much of anything.
Difficult for the Florida Mayhem there. Their sort of only ticket to victory, as it may have seemed, was shut down by Decay on the McCree. I guess that's definitely not someone you want to be running into, even if you are just as cocky as Yaki. Tough for the Mayhem now. They need to rely on maybe something else to get them a map, because they're running out of opportunities. Map 3 is right around the corner, everybody, as the Justice look to close out a quick one.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. And by Xfinity, the preferred internet provider of the Overwatch League.
That's right, everybody. The summer solstice is here. We've been a big fan of, so far, all of your artistic additions to the fan art gallery by Coca-Cola so far this season. We're looking for more. This Summer Showdown, we're looking for summer-themed pieces, celebrating Overwatch League and Coca-Cola for a chance to be featured on our gallery. You can submit your art at overwatchleague.com/art gallery. Very brief vetting process. Obviously not that strict, based on some of the creation we've seen. Matt. And then, yeah, it'll get shown in our breaks, which is kind of fun. Nice little part of the show. Mate, Yaki, Matthew, is absolutely chomping at the bit to try and make things happen here. But I tell you what, who I'm really impressed with so far. I kind of mentioned it during the game. It was, so far as Fury on Sigma. He sits at league average here, according to Watson, for Sigma players entering this week. But he and Gargoyle both feature in the top 10. They're very close in terms of their American ranking.
I mean, we know these two players are very strong. They've been strong historically in the Overwatch League in the past, right? Fury here since the inaugural season. Gargoyle comes in shortly after that. And they've been very strong ever since. It's just right now one team. Well, I mean, I think even both teams kind of floundering a little bit, but the Justice definitely getting the better of the Mayhem today.
So what are... okay, so we're going on to the Temple of Anubis. That's the next map, for those that are wondering. What are the keys to victory here for the Florida Mayhem? Or the keys to avert defeat, more specifically, because this is not a map where we always get to see a bunch of Tracer on, right? Sometimes the verticality makes it like a little bit harder for her to succeed.
You play Echo, maybe, here for the Florida Mayhem. You see the map leaderboard here presented by Xfinity for the all-time runs on Temple of Anubis. Yeah, Mayhem, Justice. That happened. Dude, what in the world happened in some of these games? 5 minute plus in the time bank. But that is some stream snipers versus casters to masters type of stuff.
It was very, very quick. No doubt about it. That might have been...
Yeah.
Who even knows? It's funny because I say that, right? Because the Florida Mayhem's... Their strongest weapon, I think, is ever since he's been in the team, has been the Yaki Tracer. So I reckon that... I remember the narrative last year was quite often about, like, Temple of Anubis, bad for Tracer players, haha, but Yaki can obviously play a bunch of different stuff and tends to do that. We just mentioned it because Tracer is one of those DPS heroes without the inbuilt ability to sort of go from low to high ground easily. You need to climb stairs and then cross. Decay, though, will be on the Tracer, though, here, Matt, which is obviously one of his best-known picks. And I don't know who we're sneaking around right now, but we are very sneaky beaky as we set up here on defense.
Yeah, I think they're just sneaking to sneak. We'll see what Florida decides to do. Tracer Summer Dive is a very different look that we haven't seen from the Mayhem in this series. This will be the first time you actually see the Winston-based, Winston-based compositions here. So Assassin goes over the top. You'll have a great idea of what they're running.
And hey, the Checkmate Winston gets, I believe it's debut, Matt. Am I incorrect in saying it's the first time?
He played some Ryan yesterday. I'm not sure if he played some Winston. I believe he did.
Yeah, maybe briefly, in fact, if I recall. Don't know if it went that well at the time. He gets the body grenade here.
That's unbelievable. They get a hack on the Decay, but they're not able to finish it off. And now they get a hack on a closer. This time they do capitalize, yeah.
Hack on the Mercy, follow it up. Perfect stuff there for the Mayhem, but there's a fight to be won still. Checkmate able to find another kill as Fury gets the mech. Guangzhou leaps into the fray and deploys a Biotic Orb. This will build his Coalescence. A good start right now for the Mayhem, with a support ultimate on the line as well. Decay has to respect Guangzhou and the skill orb.
You're going to have a nano boost for Mag here. Even with these kills that the Florida Mayhem have found, they have not been able to make their way towards the point or make any progress.
They're so slow. It's such a slow pace for them. Fury goes in. The nano boost was on Mag. Could have been a sleep dart on Checkmate or a Biotic Grenade. Either way, that sealed his fate. And after such a good start, such a coordinated dive from the Mayhem, their aggression just fizzles out.
I mean, it's very... if you watch APAC, like the Guangzhou Charge, right? They just take so long to make decisions. Right there, you get 2 picks, and you just you spend the rest of your time just chasing around a Winston Ana, where, put pressure on the point, get a tick, force them to come down, play from that area. Now you're going to have Mag with a Primal Rage.
Half of the Mayhem's time bank is already gone. Mag gets hacked but can still do work in his small room, but needs healing badly. Pulse Bomb taken away, sure, but Mag is also removed. Fury from the high ground here does get hacked, so he's stuck up there for the time being, unless he wants to commit to just boots on the ground, which I strongly doubt. And Checkmate has a primal rage here. Still needs respect, baby. Maybe tries to bait his sleep there with that bubble. But with Decay going down to BQB, it looks like the Mayhem will come up with the goods.
All right, Mayhem, they finally break this, and look at it, they're in a great spot. EMP, Bomb, Coalescence here as we go into checkpoint B. No rally, no nano here, just a self-destruct from Fury. You're in such a good spot to take this point here for Florida.
It's a comp that suits them by the looks of things. That's the EMP, catches 4, Mag disintegrates under their scrutiny. Decay doesn't fare much better. It's a Coalescence that ultimately claims him. Fury to the point, he has a self-destruct, so a potential remake opportunity, but Yaki was waiting in the corner there. Tracer versus Mini Diva. Remake! Oh no, Yaki! Oh no, he didn't know! He lacked the critical information somehow, wasn't ready for that. That is, that's a killer for the Mayhem, man. Absolutely brutal.
Yeah, as the nano onto Assassin comes in towards the end, a rally as well as Yaki lives there. With the way he's been playing, he may have been able to make something happen.
Sorry!
Coalescence, EMP, the post-bomb was eaten up by Fury.
I know. It's unreal. They kill Mag and Decay straight away, by the way.
Everything used there for Florida, and you just get, 1 tick of permanent progress.
This inability to convert these massive first picks is blowing my mind. Assassin duplicates to Diva. Sees Gargoyle on his way. Micro rockets around. The pressure's good. Checkmate. Thought he was escaping to his own Diva. Runs into Assassin, lying in wait.
Yaki he was so deep. I mean, he was so deep. He jumped in to the point to the left, if you're from the attacker side, and jumps onto both supports. But he jumps into both supports and Mag, and then Fury just right there on his exit, where he didn't have any teammates with him at the time.
237 for the Mayhem to work with here. Support ultimates should well be online in this next fight. Looking to get some work done with Coalescence. The whip shot sends Checkmate back to whence he came. Sound barrier going to be used here. Yaki doesn't benefit. It wouldn't have mattered either way. He can't believe that bomb has got him. Fury has got Yaki's number.
And you use sound barrier here. So you don't get anything with beat. You come back. So you have EMP, Coalescence, Primal Bomb, and a Pulse Bomb here. Yet again, this is the same combo that they had the last time. Assassin moves away from Echo and goes over to Summer of his own.
Woken by the Winston. Interesting decision. Bebe is down early. It's just going to be closer right now. He does not have rally, so Mag will try and buy a little bit of time here until that's available. Gungland down on Decay. The chaos being sowed in the ranks of the Mayhem allows Decay to slip in undetected and remove the Moira, the core of the healing. And how the heck are the Mayhem supposed to succeed in a long fight now?
I mean, they're not. The nano comes in at the end onto Mag. You're going to be able to start to build your way up towards another one by healing him up as he takes some damage on the way out. That is another fight with 4 ultimates, 5 ultimates used, and no more percentage for Florida, where you're going to have your own EMP here from Assassin.
Well, they're going. The Justice want to push up here. The rally gets popped. Now, at least, there'll be some remnants of that ultimate.
Yeah, they pop the rally, and the decision from the Florida Mayhem, you either move forward and you're walking a rally plus EMP, or you move backwards, and now you just give up so much time, and guess what? You're going to get EMP'd and collapsed upon anyway.
Checkmate, there was no way he was going to escape there. Assassin is ready to finish what he started after the EMP came in. And this puts the Mayhem in extremely dangerous territory. 30 seconds left. They've got a sound barrier and not much else.
Yeah, but what you're going to do is have Mag get the nano, play at the choke, play aggressive. He's going to build Primal off of that, and even if he gets hacked during it, he's going to be able to survive. So that BQB goes into the back. Thought he was potentially going to be the one to try and get a touch.
I mean, it's got to be Yaki, Matt. BQB might be able to build a later EMP, but
Oh, they get a hack on the slime! Oh!
No sound barrier. That's been taken away. Yaki doesn't have the time to lament the loss of the key ability here. He's got to make something happen with his own. Gung Engine goes for the coalescence here. And it is Mag in Primal with Nano. He's got everything you could ask for as a Winston player. And Big Cube's hacked. He's hacked with the MP. He can't use it either. An absolutely diabolical situation for the Mayhem. All these shiny ultimates, no chance to use them. What on earth is the point? Slime taken down, and that'll be that. Absolutely disastrous situation for Florida.
I think Florida, you'll be able to look back at the match the other day against Dallas, and then this one today. But I think you kind of look and try and dissect some of the issues and the problems, and I really doesn't feel like it potentially, at least in my opinion, was like a main tank issue, or looks to have been a main tank issue, where this was maybe just trying to get everybody on the same page, try and get the team kind of clicking again, because it wasn't clicking before. So maybe you kind of put in somebody new, and you can start to work or build towards that. But it seems way more. Yeah, the issues seem to be way more lying towards the side, not of talent. I don't think anyone thought that, but more of just the team decision making and calling, and having some unfortunate plays kind of not go their way at certain times. He did this twice, Fury. He was able to eat 2 pulse bombs.
Yeah, and
this is the rematch.
Suiting up.
Oh, he just popped back up in the same spot. Now, players at Fury's level, by the way, they can probably predict about where the Trace is going to recall back.
Oh, for sure.
So that is probably premeditated, and if so, absolutely savage. Fury.
No Winston on offense for the Justice. They will opt into the double shield. And this time, though, BQB, where we saw him on Widowmaker and maps past, he played the McCree right at the start. So
the May versus the Echo here. The Mayhem ultra defensive with all of their selections. Everything about this composition screams, don't touch me.
Yeah, a bit of an advantage with the Echo and the Hanzo in play. I see BQB just shooting the players trying to go across. That's going to be the Echo Mercy combo that makes it across.
And that's the risk, right? There's a lot of off-angle DPS potential here. Decay playing from an odd position. Assassin coming either over the
look
top
at this
or
spot
around the
they're
back.
forced into.
They've got to go aggressive. They realize that, though, right? They need to go. Bebe can't get back over the ice wall, put behind him with the Exo Boots, but now the Mayhem are committed to the low ground. So they need to win this out pretty much in its entirety. Halt. Sticky bombs. Oh, it's nasty stuff from Assassin. They had to commit an Amp Matrix to this.
Yeah, now you've lost Slime. You're going to have Bebe coming back off of the respawn. And the Justice are going to have their Gravitic Flux, who lost their Amp Matrix, and Valkyrie here. And that'll be a halt plus the Flux.
Had to be a fortify for checkmate to get out, so he's burnt that awful early. Fury gets Gargoyle with an accretion, just a little follow-up there. This is a masterclass of off-tank play. Whether it's Diva, whether it's Sigma, Fury is leading the way.
And you're not even going to be able to touch here, I think. And maybe
forget about it. You're getting staggered.
Yeah, I mean, you'll get the closer spawns here, but I mean, you're going to have a Flux of your own in a high noon, Deadeye. But, the duplicate Dragons Bongo combo way stronger.
And this would be an ignoble end to a series where the Mayhem are expected to do some real damage, Matt. They have been a little quiet.
Look, with the way the Justice looked against Atlanta, you would think the series, and the way that they looked against Dallas, you would think that the series is winnable, and that could not be any further from the truth.
Assassin is unable to do much here. Yeah, I could hear the BQB was behind him, so he draws McCree out of position, but that's all he does with that. That is an extremely underwhelming duplication. Oh dear.
It's definitely not over yet. You'll get the kills here onto Closer and Decay to round it out. So that is just a Blizzard use there. And you're going to have Yaki switch over to Tracer here. So play the Tracer with the McCree. Going up against the Echo, where Tracer is pretty strong against the Echo. It's very difficult for Echo to kind of hit a Tracer, especially at the caliber of Yaki's.
His concern probably is that he's just vulnerable over a long fight to like Hangzhou.
And he gets hit with a halt. Yeah, and
maybe Nakrisha was there as well. Yaki is just trying to make the play now, and that's where the mistakes can start to creep in when you try to put your team on your back like that. Dragon Strike, forcing Gangnam Jin and Slime out of the way.
What is this?
Okay, that's a good Gravitic Flux, but no follow-up at all.
What is that bongo on the side? Are they expecting them to like run at them?
Yes, after they get that Tracer picked off, they expect a pitch battle in the middle. I think Checkmate super out of position. Matt, this is not where you want to be as the Orisa at all. Immortality Field used so early and it's already been taken down. This is not it. Gravitic Flux from Fury. He can't even fight his opponents who are supposed to be defending the point. Checkmate eventually is the one who gets the Flux. Back to spawn with you. Yaki returns though, and getting rid of Bebe's pretty darn big. Fury is dead here.
Yeah, that fight, there are players everywhere. I mean, even from Fury's POV, you can't even find anybody to use the Gravitic Flux on. Just
well, Checkmate
nobody in sight.
Checkmate was like in the moat, sort of in
yeah.
a sort of low ground channel.
You're starting to get into a situation though where the Florida Mayhem might be able to win this, where Decay now will move away from the Hangzhou and he'll play McCree. This worked wonders against the Florida Mayhem when Yaki went to the Tracer on Route 66.
That was in fairness on defense though. Let's see what the Justice can get out of Decay in an offensive sense. Halt there. A lot of damage on the front line. Checkmate trying to push through. Yep, they found Decay, but can they get rid of him? Immortality Field. Decay stepped out of it at just the right time as it dissipated. An Assassin finds BQB. A duplicate here on the Tracer of all things. Assassin now can get into the backline with this switch up. Beautiful stuff. The Justice looked like they didn't have anything to bring into that fight, but it turns out this was all they needed. Pulse Bomb on Checkmate. That'll end it. And the Mayhem get absolutely bowled over here by a Justice. Did not like how they looked after that Atlanta match. So back to the drawing board. They fixed things up. They look vastly superior in this game.
Yeah, and I think the Florida Mayhem definitely going to have to go back to the drawing board. Don't know if this was the best look for them. I think they're going to have to figure something out towards the end of the season. Because like I mentioned, you know, their matches are pretty tough from here on out. And no gimmies on their schedule. As the Justice get a much-needed win. I talked about this as being a must-win match for the Justice. They came in here today, definitely played like that, and got a huge win.
And this takes the Washington Justice to 6-4 after their first 10 games in the league. So being above 500 after such a rocky start to the season is good. But again, expectations for Washington were sky high from the very beginning. And may well return to that point if they keep playing this way. But it's the Atlanta Reigns, the Shocks, the Outlaws, the fuels of this Western division that they really need to be getting wins against. I think expectations are higher than what the Justice have achieved so far. This should, though, reignite a little bit of hope for some fans.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can take a look at our player of the match presented by Xfinity. It's going to be Fury today. He played quite well in this series. What I think you saw from the Justice today specifically, they moved away from the Reinhardt-based compositions for the most of the series. You know, they played it a little bit on the first map, but really a lot of the Orisa. You know, we saw some Winston from Mag. It seems like those are their strongest looks. When the Justice struggle, it seems to be in those Reinhardt-based compositions where they can move away from that and play things like we saw today with Fury, you know, playing very strong on the Diva or the Sigma. They could be in a very good spot.
Yeah, just how much did the Justice take away from their head-to-head against the Atlanta Reign, a team that are known to be sort of the most prolific users of this double shield setup. Fury, though, you put him on Sigma, you put him on Diva. I think I mentioned it. His Diva looked excellent. A couple of fights where Yaki's Pulse Bomb is all that really stands between the Mayhem and a fight win, and it gets taken away from him. Then a remake kill to really add insult to injury. It's stylish stuff, but in that fight it was actually really important because, I mean, I think they lost Decay and they lost Mag, I think, in the first 2 kills of that fight. So the 2 players down. Yaki hasn't even gotten the Pulse Bomb out yet, so it could get even worse from there on out. But Fury stays alive, he stalls, he remakes and gets a kill for his trouble.
I still, it's a huge win for the Justice, and they get a win in a commanding fashion. I still want to see what they look like, next week, right? They get a one-on-one week this week. I don't know. You looked much better in this series. I want to see that against another top team. I would not say the Florida Mayhem in their current form are a top team. I want to see it against
they just went
team
0-4.
Right, a team like the Gladiators, a team like the Outlaws. A performance like this against them to really make me a believer.
All right, stick around, everybody. We're going to step aside for now. When we come back, we're going to hear from Fury, our player of the match, of course, off-tank player from the Washington Justice, and they'll be pleased after a big win today.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Welcome to Watchpoint Post Show presented by IBM. We're joined now by Fury from Washington Justice. Hi Fury, congratulations on the win today. Fury 선수 안녕하세요. 승리 축하드립니다.
감사합니다.
says thank you. How are you feeling right now? You don't look that happy. 별로 그렇게 즐거운 표정은 아닌데요? 힘드신가요? Are you tired?
사실 저희가 첫 경기 좀 무기력하게 지고 좀 걱정이 있긴 했는데 그래도 오늘 3대 0으로 이겨서 기분은 좋습니다.
Right, so I mean, our first match in the qualifiers for Summer Showdown, it wasn't, it didn't really go well, so I was a little bit sad about that, but I'm really happy that we sort of came back and were able to defeat the Florida Mayhem 3-0. Alright, let's jump right into the question. On that, the answer that you gave, I actually have a question for that later on. That's my second question, so we'll get into that quickly. My first question for you is, today you guys went up against an opponent, the Florida Mayhem, who have been, sort of having some rough time. What do you think the Mayhem are currently struggling with, and how did you use that to your advantage? 첫 번째 질문은 오늘의 경기, 이제 플로리다 메이햄과의 경기였는데, 플로리다가 어떻게 보면은 솔직히 말하면 요즘 그렇게 죄송합니다. 즐겁다고 하면 안 될 것 같은데, 그러니까 좀 많이 힘들어하는 모습을 많이 보여주고 이렇게 경기들이 잘 풀리지 않았던 것 같아요. 이제 워싱턴 팀에서 또 이제 프리 선수가 개인적으로 보시기에 문제점이 뭔지, 또 이제 플로리다의 문제점을 이제 어떻게 잘 사용을 해서 오늘 승리를 거두시게 되셨나요?
플로리다가 일단 오지 선수가 나가고 체크메이트 선수가 메인탱으로 이제 플레이를 하는데 솔직히 그 점에서 이제 좋은 상황은 아니었고 저희도 첫 경기를 0대3으로 좀 무기력하게 지고 저희도 좋은 상황은 아니었는데 좀 플로리다 쪽도 약간 저희랑 동변상련이지 않나 그래서 그쪽 선수들도 좀 기세로 게임하는 것 같았고 저희도 좀 약간 분위기 좋게 가서 첫 경기 좀 무기력하게 졌지만 플로리다도 상황 안 좋으니까 좀 일단 분위기 좋게 게임하려고 좀 신경 썼던 것 같아요.
Alright, so I think one of the main reasons is, having OGA not being able to play the main tank and replacing OG with Checkmate. By just looking at that, we could tell that it's not really the ideal situation for the Florida Mayhem. And on that note, I feel like our team, Washington Justice, we weren't, we're sort of on the same boat. We weren't doing that well either because we lost to the Atlanta Reign previous to this match. So we're sort of on the same boat, and just like Florida Mayhem and us, we both sort of are teams that sort of want to ride the momentum, and that's how we carry our games. So we knew that going into the matches, they weren't in an ideal situation, and we weren't either. So what we sort of wanted to focus on was during the matches, just keep our energies up, keep the mood up, and I feel like that's what really helped throughout the match against the Florida Mayhem today. All right, my second question for you, Fury, is your first match in the Summer Showdown, like you said, it wasn't ideal. It was sort of a one-sided affair, your match against the Atlanta Reign, and the match went to the favor of Atlanta Reign. What were you and your team's takeaways from the match, and what sort of adaptations did you guys make after the match? 자, 두 번째 질문, 방금 이제 계속 아틀란타와 이제 첫 번째 경기 얘기를 했는데 그거에 대해서 조금 더 여쭤보고 싶습니다. 이제 첫 번째 경기가 그렇게 좋지만은 않은 경기였고 아무래도 또 첫 번째 경기였기 때문에 그래도 살짝은 많은 사람이 좀 기대를 했던 것 같은데 거기서 그래도 패배를 했음에도 불구하고 좀 배운 게 있다면 또 그 배운 거가 뭐고 또 그거를 또 오늘 경기에 들어오면서 어떻게 적용을 하셨는지.
일단은 저희가 애틀란타랑 경기하기 전에 저희가 쓰는 조합이나 애틀란타 경기에 대한 마음이 좀 잘 준비되어 있었고 자신감도 많았었는데 좀 그날 그렇게 무기력하게 지고 저희끼리 좀 얘기도 많이 해보고 한 결과 좀 저희가 연습 때 열심히 했던 거나 연습 때 좀 잘 준비했던 것들이 대회 때는 좀 잘 그게 보이지 않거나 아니면 좀 저희가 이상하게 플레이를 하는 경우가 많아서 그래서 좀 대회랑 연습 때랑 좀 분위기나 저희가 하는 게임들을 좀 비슷하게 하거나 아니면 좀 저희 안에서 일어나는 변수들 같은 걸 좀 줄이려고 마음을 많이 먹었던 것 같아요.
Alright, so before our first match against the Atlanta Reign, we had really high hopes and we really practiced a lot and we had a lot of confidence in not only our comps that we were going to use, but just the whole general mood going into the match was very high, and we were very ready for the match. But of course, that match didn't work in our favor, and we did get the loss. And you know, after losing to the Atlanta Reign, we sort of looked into what was going wrong, and I sort of feel like I found out that how we practice and how the matches went on were totally different. We sort of wanted to sort of carry on what our practices and scrims and how we played in those in those practices and use that in our matches, but sort of I don't know what went wrong, but it just didn't go just like the practices in the match against Atlanta Reign. So what we learned was our team really have to sort of try our best to match our practice to the actual match. So sort of lessen all the variables that goes in between and sort of, you know, carry out the same way how we do practice to the actual match when we actually have to play. Alright, there you go. Fury, thank you so much for the interview. 퓨리 선수 인터뷰에 주셔서 너무나도 감사드리고요. And again, big congratulations to you on the win today. 자, 또 승리 다시 한번 축하드립니다.
감사합니다.
Alright, thank you so much. Let's head back to the desk.
Thank you so much, Fury. Thanks a lot, Danny, for getting the inside scoop. And I mean, he's correct, right? And maybe Casta and Reinforce, you both can shed some insight here as well. Practice and live matches are a very, very different beast. And even if everything goes well in your practice, everything goes well in your scrims, and you think you have it figured out, repeating all of that on a live server against quote-unquote real opponents, very different scenario.
Yeah, I wanted to expand what he was saying there, because I think that the playstyle they were playing against Atlanta Reign as well, I think it was a way more of a rigid playstyle. When you played at Symmetra with the teleporter, you have to group up as a team. Hey, we're going to move to this location. This is where we're going next. This is where we are. What we're doing next is the ultimates we're using next. In this matchup against the Florida Mayhem, I don't want to get ahead of myself because we're about to talk about that match. But it felt a bit more loose, you know, just like. Let Assassin play his Echo and the heroes he's comfortable with. Let the K play his heroes that he's comfortable with. And we're all just, you know, we're vibing. We're vibing, really. We're having a good time. We're doing, you know, what our instincts tell us. And really being able to practice that and improve your individual skill, and then the synergy comes along with that. I think that's what you really have to aim for as a team. But playing too rigid, overthinking it, it gets really tough come match time. And Costa knows this, especially as a main support himself. If you overthink things and, you know, think about your decisions too long, and you come up with a pretty limping performance in the end.
Yeah, I want to add to the idea of playing in matches how you do in scrims. I'm pretty sure you've probably heard this from every team at some point, especially when they're on a downwards trajectory. It's just when you're practicing, everyone's chill, everyone's just like focusing on the game, themselves, all that kind of stuff. As soon as you get into a match, a lot of things change. People are communicating too much. People are going for plays they usually wouldn't. They're playing too scared. They're playing too aggressive. There's a ton of different factors that change from your practice to the actual match. And that is hard to overcome as an individual and as a team when you have all these variables that are changing. You're like, this just isn't what we did on practice. All of a sudden, people just aren't playing with the right tempo and everyone's on different pages. So if they can solve that issue, they have, you know, the Washington Justice have one of the best rosters in the league. They just can't seem to string it together right now. So hopefully this win against the Florida Mayhem sort of sparks something for them. They can start playing with a little bit more flow and vibe out a little bit more, as Johnny was saying.
I'm also so interested to see what's going to happen once, you know, we are back in front of an audience. We have so many rookie players in the league right now, which haven't had that experience per se. Right. So it's going to be even another shift. It's another layer to add to scrims and practice versus live matches, and then live matches versus live matches in front of an audience. Completely different beast. But let's break down the action between the Justice and the Florida Mayhem. Of course, on the nation's capitals. You know, the nation's capital is winning on the birthday. There we go. That was a complicated sentence. We eventually got there. But yeah, Justice, it was, you know, it was written in the stars. They were supposed to win today. And in hindsight, as we were watching this game and as it went on, we all started kind of questioning why we ever thought that the Mayhem actually got this one in the back, Reinforce.
Oh, okay. But before Costa gets, you know, talks about how he's right with his prediction, etc. I thought the Florida Mayhem would play different stuff. Okay, they showed aggression yesterday. They showed confidence, overconfidence a lot of the time. But that worked for them. You know, they really shocked their opponent. This time around, Checkmate was playing the Orisa, he was playing the Winston. I honestly don't know why. I'd love to know why they moved away from those Reinhardt compositions. Some of it has to do with map design, of course, but I think they had something going for them with the Reinhardt compositions and the fact that they didn't fear what was going to happen. I felt like they went into this match thinking that it was a very winnable match, in that it was the Washington Justice who were slumping a little bit, had a bad match against the Atlanta Reign. Hey, let's play serious this time around. It's the Washington Justice, we can beat these guys. Well, they ended up overthinking it, I think. I think they played too much of this Orisa and the Winston, and instead they should have just gone back to what really scared the Dallas Fuels yesterday. Anyway, I don't know what Costa thinks, but that's how I felt about it.
I agree. I think the Florida Mayhem are in one of the hardest spots when you're in a hole and you don't know how to get out, and then you have something like Checkmate having to play the main tank. I've been on a team that went 0-7, 0-8, and trust me, as soon as you start accumulating those losses, every win seems further and further away. And I think that's what's happening with the Florida Mayhem, to the point that they're overthinking every single decision that they're making. They're overthinking, they're like, we lost that last match, we have to change it up now, we need to slow everything down, that was too aggressive. Or, Yaki and BQB, great DPS players, nothing's really changed for them, but they're not really playing the same way and the same style that we know and love them for, that gives the Florida Mayhem so much success. So a little bit in their heads. I think right now they are still a great roster, but something's got to give at this point, because 7-match loss streak for a team that we thought was probably going to be top 5 NA coming into this season just really isn't cutting the mustard for them right now. So I really want to see bigger things from them.
Danny, Mayhem was already they were already not qualified for the knockout. So you reckon that had anything to do with them not giving it their all? Like, are they not having the end goal in the back of their minds?
I don't think so. I mean, I think all the teams, they know that every map counts, every win, or even, every map counts, and all those points will, at the end of the season, it will all count at the end. So I don't think they were, just taking this lightly because they were already eliminated. I think it was just, honestly, I personally think it was just Washington just sort of waking up and being like, hey, we should do this. Like what Fury said, they were trying in this match to just lighten up the mood, have fun, and treat it like a practice, right? So I think, I think it was just Washington having the better mood, or being, having the better mindset compared to Florida Mayhem.
Yeah. And I mean, just in time for them as well. This was only Justice's second match in the Summer Showdown. They still have 2 more to go. The first one was a rough loss, 0-3 against Atlanta Reign. But getting that victory now is huge for them. That is a momentum they're going to have heading into next week's matches, where they face off against Gladiators and London, I believe, are the next 2 they're facing off. So that's potentially 1 guaranteed win, and potentially not a guaranteed loss, but definitely a tough battle against the Gladiators. So they needed this very badly, and they got the W. So good stuff for the Justice. Let's see if they can carry it over into next week's matches. Now, of course, we did have a second match. That was a very quick one. You blinked and you missed it. It was the Vancouver Titans going up against the Houston Outlaws. We came very close to breadsticks, but that's not the only thing we learned. Costa, there was quite a lot to be seen and be looked out for either of those teams.
Yeah, I think the Vancouver Titans, they had a solid performance. You can tell they understand what the meta is. I really liked them bringing in Teru to play that Doomfist. Kind of just sort of curveball for the Houston Outlaws of, hey, now you have something different to deal with. Houston Outlaws did a pretty good job of countering that style. And I think that's what I learned about the Houston Outlaws as well, is they seem to understand heavily what they want to do, what they want to play on each map, and that they have and understand the win conditions that they need to do. They played Winston, they played Orisa, they played Brawl. They really did it all, and that's great to see. But now, they're 9-1. They've been having a great season. They need to convert it into actually the playoffs. They need to go to Hawaii. We need to see them against the best, because it feels like every time we say this, the Houston Outlaws, they're looking great. They've worked it out. They get good wins against good teams, and then they fall short at the finish line. I want to see them come in with that consistency of their roster and the playstyle like we've seen from them so far in the Summer Showdown, and convert that into a good win against the Dallas Fuel, or even against the APAC teams as we head over to that Hawaii region.
It's actually a similar thing to the Washington Justice. where Washington, they play one way in practice and then play one way in the real matches. I feel like the Houston Outlaws, you can kind of apply that as well to playing in matches you think like are winnable, and then playing against really good teams you feel like you have to upset, like the Dallas Fuel or you name it. They beat the San Francisco Shock, which is obviously an incredible feat. I'm not trying to overlook that, but the Houston Outlaws, like, they just vibe in a match like this. Like Costa pointed out, they play the Winston. I've said vibe 2 times now on the post show. That's bad habit. Because we're not just vibing in the Overwatch League. I get. We're having fun. We're vibing, but like you can't just.
Oh no!
I'm just saying.
Oh my
like,
God.
you can vibe in Overwatch and have a good time, but at the end of the day as well, you gotta have fun time. You know, playing the Winston composition. Happy was playing the Widowmaker. Dante was playing the Tracer. You love to see that. That's the fun stuff. Hot dogs. I can't wait to cook some ribeyes up. It's gonna be great. I'm going to have some beverages. Some of them carbonated. I'm not going to disclose what they are. It's going to be a lovely July 4th Houston Outlaws.
Spoiler.
We got the battle for Texas next week. Woo! I'm hyped, baby.
There
It's
it
gonna be a
is.
good one.
Johnny,
Yeah.
Johnny, where do you even find those ugly shades? Like,
They're Johnny's
Me?
personal shades.
Oh, the
Yeah.
shade on the
Oh, okay,
shades.
look.
I love it.
Okay, I see what we have
love
on our hands. I see what we have on our hands. Danny, he just thinks about the looks. Okay, it's about the functionality. These are very protective glasses. I have lights
Aerodynamic.
in my room right now. Yeah, they're very effective at shutting down the sunshine. That's what I care about when I go on my fishing trips. That's what
do
I
you
care
actually
about when I'm
wear
in
that
the
out?
mountains.
You actually wear
How
that?
deep
That
do I
wasn't
want
just...
to role play right now? I'm making a decision.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, I wear these when I go to
No,
the
are
store.
you actually?
It's,
You're not actually.
no,
I thought
this
you
is the
just
first
got
time
them
I'm
for the
ever wearing them.
cosplay.
This is
I
the
think
first
they
time.
suit you.
Alright, we
should
could
go
still
out
be
with
friends
those.
then.
Okay, they are protective glasses, all right? They
Alright.
work as a contraception altogether, so I can tell you that much. It's rough out there. Now, we did... Sorry about that. It had to be said, though. Just, you know, another important information. PSA for everyone. We did start today with an actual 5-map banger between the Dallas Fuel and Atlanta Reign. Fuel came out on top, but it was such a close game, and actually it was a very exciting one to watch as well.
Yeah, this is really like the match that could have gone either way. 3 of us predicted the Atlanta Reign. 3 of us, once again, didn't believe in the Dallas Fuel. When are we going to learn is really the question. Dallas Fuel always making it work no matter what meta they're in. This looked like a meta that wouldn't suit them at all. Winston is really not very prominent right now, really struggling to deal with these Reinhardt symmetric compositions. But Dallas Fuel just say, hey, we can play Brawl if we want to, we just haven't been. And they pick up that Reinhardt, they pick up the Symmetra, and they play it and put on a masterclass against, in my opinion, one of the best Brawl teams that we have in the league against the Atlanta Reign. So, awesome to see Dallas really stepping up when it matters. I'm sorry, Dallas, I'll stop doubting you. But for Atlanta Reign as well, you can't look at this loss as an ultimate failure. They took Dallas to 5. We know that they have the chops now. We know that they can take it and perform when they need to. They just need to get those few extra little margins to start getting these wins, because Atlanta Reign could make it to Hawaii again and get those dominant, sort of get that final victory or a trophy that they've been looking for so long. They always, you know, what's the terminology? Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. That's the Atlanta Reign right now with their current finals performances.
I've never heard of that thing in my life.
I'm just happy that Dallas won, because even going in, I wasn't sure about my pick, but after seeing, you know, Dallas Fuel playing that Brawl, now I think I have more confidence. While if, you know, I have to pick Dallas on the future matches.
Unless.
Honestly, just predict the good teams.
Why don't we just predict the teams which win? Duh.
Yeah.
It would be so easy.
But usually
Well, we don't know. The
when
teams
we,
are honestly
say,
they bait us. They bait us so often.
yeah, when we say, oh, then we should
the
pick
next
the good team, and then it just never. And then when we decide to go with the quote unquote good teams, they lose.
Exactly.
And then so we're like,
it's not us, it's them. That's how I see it. Now let's actually take a look at our prediction look back to see just how wrong and how right we were today. You know, some got the dubs and some didn't. What can you do? What can you do?
I just want to say, I was so confident in my picks going today. Like I don't think I've ever been this confident about my picks the entire season. Like I looked at the maps beforehand. I was like, great, we got some double shield maps going here. Atlanta Reign are going to be fantastic in that. Then we had the Florida series, and I was like, they're gonna play checkmate on Reinhardt.
Hey
It's gonna incredible. Oh my
I hate
god,
this.
this looks terrible.
Hey guys, I'm
Yeah,
back.
we're just all back together.
Y'all-
I finally
y'all
edged
miss
ahead.
me?
I was so proud of myself. And now you both caught up to me. Like, actually,
Wait, how many?
What the
How
heck?
many points is Costa ahead of us?
4, baby.
What was it,
I'm
3,
ju-
4?
I even
Four.
threw in a
4.
Washington Justice pick today to sort of help you guys catch
By
up.
accident.
Just when it rains, it
That's
pours.
okay.
You know,
Four-
it's tough
four
being the
catchable.
king. Oh, there it is.
4
Stop that.
catchable.
Cut that out.
Oh.
Yeah.
Get rid of that right
Can I
now.
get some hot dogs as well?
No.
I'm the king. I'm the
Get
king.
it
Give me
out.
some hot dogs as well.
Stop it.
It'll
Get
suit
it out.
Johnny.
Dogs. I like
There's,
just how you waited in anticipation for the hot dogs. It's like that
A
hot
lot of
dog
things
being
are
frozen.
Ribeyes. Did you get those ribeyes production? Come on, buddy. It's about the steaks. It's about
We
the
got
steaks, not the
roses.
hot dogs. Come
got
on.
It's a high
dogs.
stakes game here on
We
the
got
desert.
breadsticks.
Any day. Listen, I'm trying my
We're
hardest.
waiting.
It's
We're
time for a
waiting.
break anyway, so we
Yeah.
can recover from what I just said. We're just moments away from our critically acclaimed segment, Best of the Day. I know you guys can't wait. We certainly can't. However, you do have to wait as we're heading into a very quick break. Ooh, words hard. Bye. See you in a bit.
Bye bye.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back to the Watch My Boss show presented by IBM. The Mayhem struggled throughout their whole match today, and that's not why I'm smiling and giggling, I swear. Which is really funny. We have an example we would like to show you of just that, which was on their Anubis attack, which is in the focus of our alt economy presented by State Farm. So Reinforce, why don't you break it down for us?
Yeah, I thought this was a pretty interesting play in the Washington Justice for the Mayhem match. We're on Temple of Anubis and for the Mayhem. They have 5 ultimates. This is supposed to be their big chance to lock it down. Point 3 on Temple of Anubis. EMP comes out, hits 3 people, Mag goes down. But they are not able to close this one out. The Chaos goes down, but Fury eats Yaki's pulse bomb. And this is what I like from the Washington Justice. They're playing this composition with Brigandana that gives them a lot of win scenarios, not relying on ultimates so much. So even though Florida Mayhem, they invest so many ultimates into this fight, they invest 5 of them, checkmate with this Primal as well. You're not really scared of that one, are you? Washington Justice, by just being able to stay alive with this Ana and Brig composition, they're able to lean on biotic grenades, peeling off people with your shield bash and your, I was gonna say whiplash. Is it whiplash? No, it's
whip shot.
The whip shot. That's right. Thank you. That's what we have
get
on the desk, so you can tell me what the main support abilities are called.
Exactly.
So they're not really the Washington Justice. They don't really have to lean on the ultimates as much, getting value from those. Because they're relying instead on the biotic grenades and forcing mistakes from the Florida Mayhem. So this was actually perfect from the Washington Justice because Florida Mayhem, this is supposed to be their big fight. They're investing these big ultimates. They have 5 ready to go. Washington Justice, they just want to stay alive. They want to drag out the fight because that's when Decay and Assassin will come up with some magic. That's what they do best on those mechanically intense Overwatch heroes. So I love this play for the Washington Justice. They had a great composition to counter a pretty disorganized Florida Mayhem team.
Anything to add? Thoughts?
My thoughts are more, I don't know what happened to the glasses, Johnny, but if you're talking about Overwatch, I agree. I think a lot of the Florida issue. Oh god, that's even worse. I think a lot of the Florida issues is highlighted in that they're just trying too hard to force things. They force the EMP, they force the coalescence, but they're not really getting a maximum amount of value. And Washington is just like gives it a minute, lets them use a lot of their ultimates and then counters with their own and then manage to make it look easy on the re-engage. And that happened time after time in that match right there. So Florida Mayhem just lacking a bit of identity right now.
Absolutely. Now, there were some highlights, of course, in this match on both sides. I want to really get everyone's eye on a low light, I guess, still. Not a low light. It's tragic. It hurt, okay? And that's why it made it into the best of the day. Technically, I could also just introduce this as something positive for Fury, but I'm gonna make it something negative for Yaki because it was just Fury adding insult to injury, okay? It just hurt. First, Fury is out there eating Yaki's ult, and then he remake kills him. Like, come on, man. Like, that's just... really?
He's just bullying.
Oh, how did
that
play,
was just...
though.
That is really great.
That is an instinct play. Yeah, you see the recall and you're like, I know where you're gonna be. That's really good.
Yeah, I love the play. I love the play.
Great play from Fury. Unsurprising, of course, since he's just a beast on that D.Va. But
he is.
I felt for Yaki. I think Yaki's Tracer looked really, really good in some parts of that match today, and he definitely had his highlight. I mean, he was pretty much their sole win condition on Route 66. It was like, Yaki's gonna do this for us. Go, Yaki. That was Nip, but he tried his hardest.
Yaki fighting. Yaki fighting.
Keep fighting.
You can do
Indeed.
this. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So
my best of the day.
Danny? Yeah.
Do you guys remember the first match of the day? It seems so long ago.
Oh,
do you remember the first map?
Nope.
Yeah.
Nepal? It was Nepal on Village. Mine is right here. Our bro, my boy, my guy. Fearless with the fatty shatty. Something about...
I actually appreciate
like,
this, Danny.
Shatter. Like something about Shatter just like, I don't know. It's just...
It's one of the most satisfying things that you can do in a game of Overwatch.
Yeah. I think this was my first time ever, after being on the desk, like, for the best of the day. I usually take really long to think about the best of the day, and immediately, as soon as I saw this, I was like, I want that. I want that. I was like
Danny,
the first one to say it.
first map of the first match in the day, and Danny's like, I've got my best of the day sorted. That one right there.
That's it. I'm going with that. Yep.
I love that though. It spoke to you. That's good.
That's what you need.
I like that.
And if anything speaks to me, it speaks to the visual pain that we've all been in when we've ever played D.Va that FRD went through today. And this is, I feel like this should be against the rules. We should write something into the guidelines, John Spector, if you're out there. This maybe should be something like an unwritten rule that we're not going to stagger baby divas, because this is just, FRD's just having a bad day. He gets grilled, and here he is as Baby D.Va, trying to make his way to the cliff, and he knows that he's going to get walled. He knows he's going to get frozen, so he's going to take a detour. He's going to jump into the low ground, and he's going to go into here. But he gets pulled, and then he's getting consistently slowed by the Mei. Then he gets walled by the Mei, and then he tries to remake, and gets bashed by the Brig. Then tries to run out, gets body blocked again. He's fully body blocked. He can't kill anyone because they have an immortality field. He's getting teabagged while he's alive. Then he drops a Mei wall, and then he tries to remake and gets bashed again, but actually dies because he is run out of health. So, disrespectful. Yeah, I don't think this should be allowed.
How long was that? How long was that stall?
Forever.
We're starting at like
FRD 10 minutes.
140. So we'll see. We'll count it down as we watch it again. It feels like a minute, but I think it's actually 30 seconds.
And he's so over it too. Like, look at just his face throughout the entire thing. He's just like, come on now.
Just let it end.
And then I remember this. After this, I think Crimzo.
Not the first time. FRD. This happened to him back in 2018 or 19. I think this is 2019. This is 2 years later. He's been forged in the flames of the Baby D.Va. FRD knows this pain, but it still hurts the same, I'm sure.
But the fact that immediately after this game, he manages to not only get the screenshot, but also get that tweet out, because he just remembers. You just know that not a day went by with him forgetting about what happened to him back in the days.
Costa knows about the PTSD from matches. It's a real thing.
There's some awful memories back there in the play.
Didn't Crimzo right after that happened right in in-game chat, like he was like, I think he said something like that was brutal, and then Piggy was like sad.
It was just sad.
Yeah, I mean, it's very tough, right? It's very tough to be in that position. I'm sorry, unless, of course, you're on the other side of it. And that way, it's so much fun, and you actually just love to see it. I mean, that's amazing, and that's what the Houston Outlaws thought as well. Stalling out FRD. I mean, Piggy was having a great old time, and that made my best of the day. You know, I'm sorry, FRD, but 6 players' happiness is more important than something sad. Look at him go! Piggy's loving it! Oh! He's loving it! It's the best! Woo! So, I feel like there's 6 members on the Houston Outlaws, and FRD, he's one little baby diva. I don't feel like this is a sum zero game. I feel like the happiness of the 6 Houston Outlaws players is pretty good for this one. So, Piggy, he had a great old time. He had so much fun here, and I appreciate that. That's what it's all about. Playing video games is fun.
Yeah.
Look at him. He's so happy!
That smile.
He's so happy.
I never seen him this happy, actually. No, that was a great best of the day. It's always nice to have, both sides of the story.
Yeah.
Right? That's what we need. It's going to be fair. Yeah. Now, I do want to take a look at the NA Summer Showdown standings to see where we're standing after just 2 weeks of play, because a few things have shifted, but also there's a lot of even-Steven numbers there. So it will come down to some map differentials at one point as well, as there was a lot of 2-2s going on, and some teams are still missing quite a few games. Which need to be played to determine who is going to make it in. What are the most likely candidates, gentlemen?
Well, it's really interesting if you look at it right now. San Francisco Shock are in trouble because they have a 0 map differential with 2-2, and I think there's a high likelihood that we see the Los Angeles Gladiators push up into the top 6. Same with Atlanta Reign at this point. So if you're the Shock, you're not comfortable where you are, but then you also see a lot of weird outliers at the top end right now. Boston Uprising, Toronto Defiant, they've had great Summer Showdowns so far. Can they keep that up going into next weekend?
Yeah, we've got some really good matches next week. So we got the Battle for Texas, and I mean, we're probably about to show this later, so I'm just, again, getting ahead of myself. But we got Houston Outlaws and Dallas Fuel, Battle of Texas. That's going to be a fantastic match. Both teams are at 2-0. And then as well, we have the LA Gladiators taking on the Washington Justice. Both teams are at 1-1. Who's going to get the upper hand? I mean, that's going to be some real good games next week.
Also, Atlanta is going to be in a good spot as well, because Atlanta is going to go up against, what is it, London and Boston
Boston.
So those
Okay,
are
both
two
winnable.
very winnable matches for them, which would put them at 3 victories. So they might, like, you know, secure their in as well. So still so much out in the open, which I love. I love when it's really not clear cut up until those very last few matches. And that might be the scenario we're actually going to get. And as you mentioned, Costa, map differential. So important. It's completely out of Shock's hand now whether or not they make it. And this is where you have to start regretting dropping maps against teams which are technically so much farther below you in the standings. And I believe I said that like in week number 1, we're like, yeah, but they won. Like, I'm gonna roll it back. I need that tape. I need that soundbite where I was like, they might regret this. Yeah, they might. I was right. Just saying.
Was it May Melee
stern
where
parent
we saw a 4-way tie, almost saw a 4-way tie in map differential and score differential,
Yeah.
and we
People
almost
in
had
the
the
back
world's
were
weirdest.
sweating.
Yeah, we almost had the weirdest tiebreaker in history.
Yeah, you have no idea. Like backstage, we don't even have a backstage, but the virtual backstage, it was on fire. Everything was riding
Literally.
on those. They were crunching the numbers to like come up with something, but it's going to be exciting. Danny, what are you most excited for next week?
For next week,
Yeah, tell me all
course.
about it.
the knockout
all of
rounds on Sunday.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? He doesn't even need the qualifying matches anymore. He's just going to go straight for the knockout matches.
Yeah.
Skip 'em.
Let's see
Well,
those,
which team
those
do you
good
want to
teams.
see make it in? Which team do you need to have in the knockout rounds? Which team can't you live without?
I'm gonna say Atlanta, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Good shout. Good shout. I like it.
Cause
Yeah.
I know. Okay, I'm gonna say this. Like when I was in Hawaii, I was talking with I think it was Pelican and was it Iris, and then I was like, hey, like good job, blah, blah, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna see you guys in the next tournament, right? In Hawaii again. And they were like, yeah, we'll try our best, and they sounded really sad and worried. But then they're actually doing really good, so I really want them to go back to Hawaii and just prosper.
Just rock it. Prosper. Go to Hawaii and prosper.
Prosper,
With
yes.
those words, we do have to say goodnight for now. Thank you once again for joining me here on the desk for the Watch Point Pre, as well as post-show and all our game breaks, of course. All the action is going to start next week on Thursday already. We're going to have 4 days of action, as the Sunday will be reserved for our knockout rounds to determine which teams are making it to Hawaii for the Summer Showdown tournament. Lots of exciting stuff to come with only 4 days break in between. I can't wait. Thank you all for tuning in. It's time to zoom out. Let it rain.
Hot
Hot
dogs.
dogs. Happy 4th of July. Stay safe. Don't put on
Happy
any-
birthday,
Day.
America!
Yeah.
Happy birthday,
Happy
America!
birthday!
Independence. Yeah.
Ooh, fireworks! Let's go!
Not bad.
My ultimate is strong.
Down!